This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, students at Otago Polytechnic elect a new executive team and more changes are on the way. 150 years on and a local school celebrates with the help of some high-profile former pupils. And an annual race around White Island proves challenging for surf lifesavers. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. A new executive team has been elected to represent students at Otago Polytechnic. That comes as the institution is preparing to expand by taking on courses from other tertiary providers. And there's more change on the horizon.
Taking note of the issues. These newly elected representatives are pushing for change as they approach their term with the Otago Polytechnic Students Association. They're pledging to tackle several topics including funding, Māori participation and student expenses.
I'd like to benefit the students with their living circumstances, so around housing and financing, getting more advertisement and awareness around OPSA to present so that we can get more funding.
They say getting students to engage with the association can be difficult as many don't know what the group does. The election only attracted a few hundred votes from students, although thousands are enrolled. So new representatives are wanting to raise the profile of the OPSA as well as awareness about its role within the Polytechnic.
It's more about getting known and getting people to actually come on board and help, because it's not just about the board itself, it's also about the students being proactive.
The Polytechnic is preparing to expand in size and purpose. It's looking at taking on design courses recently ditched by the University of Otago and may also cover Aoraki Polytechnic's local programs. Miller says that means the student voice needs to be strong.
Students are here to study, so that should be their main priority, and the growth of the Polytech is the management's job, so that's their job, and then students can study. But if there are any concerns, then I think that OPSA should definitely be able to push their concerns forward.
First on the agenda is making the OPSA more visible on campus. Then these executives can start guiding the changes they desire for the benefit of all students. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
The Pirates Squash Club in St Kilda continues to be plagued by crime. Last week, a set of keys to the club was stolen, then used to gain entry in a late-night burglary. Thieves stole the club's cash float, as well as raffle prizes and alcohol. Police arrested 4 teenagers aged between 14 and 16 in relation to the incident. They're being dealt with by Youth Aid. But the Victoria Road Club was again broken into on Sunday evening when more alcohol was stolen from inside. Police are investigating the latest incident, which they say could be related to the earlier break-ins. A local school has been pulling out all the stops to celebrate its 150-year history. Mornington School has been open for 1.5 centuries, and staff have been holding Jubilee events for past and present pupils, and that's included some high-profile guests.
Reminiscing about the good old times. These former Mornington School pupils have been celebrating the institution's 150th birthday. Staff organised a jubilee to mark the occasion and honour the school's identity.
For the school, we've had a 10-day fiesta of fun for the last 2 weeks. We've done something special every day. For the people who've come home to school, we've got the social last night, the opening ceremony today, and this evening we've got a formal dinner at the town hall.
The 300-strong crowd at the long weekend celebrations included current staff as well as former principals and pupils. One of those past pupils has been rising through the ranks of the New Zealand Police Force since leaving the classroom.
I was coming for nostalgic reasons, to see people that I hadn't seen for a long time. I've been away from Dunedin for 30 years, so to come along and see people that you grew up with, that was important.
Staff have been organising the event for 2.5 years. Caldwell says it's an important milestone for everyone at the school to reflect on. Many present-day pupils got the chance to meet generations of Mornington students and swap stories.
yesterday our kids got to show a lot of them around, and it was wonderful to hear our kids listening to their stories and relating to them, because we've been learning about the past, and it's just wonderful to be able to speak to these people and ask the questions that we want to ask.
He says the school's heart is beating as strong as it was 150 years ago, and he wants to ensure local children are prepared for the future to create an even bigger legacy. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Police believe thieves are targeting the wealthy suburb of Maori Hill. Several homes in the area have been broken into recently. A Lynn Street house was ransacked over the long weekend, with thieves stealing 3 televisions, a laptop and a safe. Another home in Balmacewen Road was smashed into and several items were stolen, including a car. Police are investigating both cases and believe the burglaries could be connected. They say thieves often take the opportunity to strike during long weekends when many residents travel away from home. Surf lifesavers from around the country have been testing their skills and perseverance at St Clair. Dozens have competed in the yearly race around White Island, which has been running for almost 5 decades. It's one last chance for lifeguards to enjoy the beach before they start summer patrols.
Bounding into the break, dozens of the country's surf lifesavers have been giving their all over Labour weekend, tackling a 5-kilometre race around White Island. The event has a long history, enticing water lovers from near and far to St Clair Beach since 1969.
Competitors can choose their craft, and we have people from all sorts of clubs. We've got people from Mount Maunganui today, from Christchurch. They all come down and, as I said, get raced around the island, and it's just kind of the start of our surf season, really.
Conditions were tricky for the almost 50 competitors with 1.5 metre swells. The rough seas saw over 10 participants pull out, but the majority powered through.
We had a good at least 30 people make it around the island, so it's pretty exciting. It's good for the club and it's good for everyone to test their abilities in surf, because at the end of the day we're here as lifeguards to make sure it's safe for the public.
The race is organised by the St Clair Surf Lifesaving Club as the first big event of the season. Competitors were keen to get into the surf after a long winter, and now they're amping for summer patrols. But even the race winner was challenged by the rugged local conditions.
Just the distance of the race, really, and the surf conditions and all that. So the surf conditions here are quite different to at home, so quite a bit harder. But yeah.
No records were broken this time around, leaving the St Clair Club breathing a sigh of relief, with a $1,000 prize going unclaimed. But with an anticipated busy summer ahead, organisers expect the competition to be even more fierce next year. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, a city councillor talks about an idea which could be of benefit to local community groups, and 30 competitors hit the green, vying for a share in a $15,000 prize pool.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
This year's Oamaru Heritage Festival's theme is Alice in Wonderland, celebrating the sesquicentennial of its writing. Join us in Oamaru November 11th to 16th. See www.vhcu.co.nz for details. And don't be late for this very important date.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boy store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat, Veggie Boys Dunedin, your guaranteed a treat.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Mobility scooters Otago, mobility scooters new and used, electric manual wheelchairs, strollers and walkers, free home demonstration and delivery. Call Tony on 03 455 2875 or visit our showroom, 211 King Edward Street, opposite Westpac.
Congratulations, you're getting married. Hi, I'm James Morris, wedding celebrant, and it's my privilege and a pleasure to bring you the perfect ceremony for your perfect day. Don't wait or contemplate. Your consultation is free with no obligation. jamesmorris.co.nz.
Big Orange for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Welcome back. The city is benefiting from a booming tourism sector with overseas visitors spending more money than ever in the past year. The total yearly spend by foreign tourists has increased by a record $1.7 billion. That's a jump of more than 17%. International tourism expenditure is now at its highest level since records began in 1999. Domestic tourism is also growing, with New Zealanders spending more money travelling within the country. A new scheme to help local community groups is being considered by the Dunedin City Council. It's the brainchild of Councillor Ginty McTavish, and she joins us to talk about it. Good evening.
Good day.
What is your vision with this scheme?
Well, I guess there's a couple of things. What we know, or what we identified through our recent representation review, is that some parts of our community have community boards, and by virtue of that, they have access to a whole load of expertise and easy access to staff. And there are other parts of our community which don't have community boards, and they don't have that easy access. So the vision with this scheme is to level the playing field a bit, make it easier for community groups that are working outside of community board areas to access that same expertise and information and advice and resourcing that our community boards do.
And how do you aim to do that?
Well, I guess we're not quite sure yet. We're looking at the options. So staff are working up a report that they'll bring back in January. We're hoping that it'll give us a few different ways of approaching the issue. One of the options is to build on things that we've done in the past. So we've piloted something called a place-based scheme, where one staff member has been dedicated to each part of the CBD. That's been trialled in North East Valley, and I think with quite a lot of success. It's been, I guess, hampered a bit by resourcing. So when you have one staff member who's got a busy day job and this is a tag on, it can be a bit of a stress. So what we're looking at now is how much resourcing might be required to roll out something like that more widely, whether or not perhaps it's better to have a one-stop shop within council where all of those staff members, full-time staff members, are based, where they might and those guys would be the ones that handled all of the community requests rather than it going dispersed throughout council.
Mm-hmm. What is the next phase then of this project likely to be?
So staff are working up these options and they'll be bringing back a report in January for us to consider. Against each of the options there'll be a budget line. Some of them will be within existing budgets, others perhaps a bit more. If there are budgetary impacts, we'll go out for consultation with the community. So that would mean in March next year, as part of the annual plan process, we'll say, hey guys, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of this approach? Give us your feedback and tell us whether you think it's worth the investment. So that's the next stage.
How do you think communities will respond?
Well, all the feedback that I have received to date has been enormously positive. You know, there are many amazing community groups doing phenomenal things out there for the community, and sometimes navigating council processes to get the information that's required can be quite challenging. So, you know, groups like Brockville or Kistorfen that are doing great place-based stuff are saying that's actually a really neat idea. So, I don't know, I guess we'll see what the feedback is come March, but to date, I think the feedback has been very positive.
What are the benefits of having community groups?
Oh boy, there are so many. You know, in this day and age where we're very mobile as people, it can be quite hard to foster that sense of community unless you're tagged to a school or something like that. We tend to have communities of interest these days rather than geographic communities. But what we've identified at Council and what a lot of studies say is that actually geographic communities are really powerful things to promote the well-being of our communities. And so everything that those community groups do, from enhancing the local park or working together with schools to do neat things with young people, all of that stuff is building community, building pride, building a sense of identity for people, giving people meaning and contact with others in their life, and all of that is really positive.
Are similar schemes run anywhere else?
Yes, there are. So Hamilton is a good example. They have got dedicated staff that work with dedicated communities so that there is that point of contact for anyone from any given community into council. So we're looking at models like that. There are other models in other parts of the country that do it in different ways. So it's not a new thing. It's definitely, you said it was my brainchild. It's not my brainchild. It's just a copycat, really.
Dunedin City Councillor Dinty McTavish, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, we meet the Australian who's just won a premier sporting competition hosted here in Dunedin, and we've shots from the weekend's big concert.
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new all-black pack. Call now for the Sportsville special, 0800 502 402.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
128 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders, and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. The SSL Digital Console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS Studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Every reason every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Welcome back. The clean-up effort to remove asbestos from Dunedin Hospital is continuing. Experts have been called in to contain and remove asbestos found in several different parts of the hospital. Those contaminated areas are undergoing rigorous cleaning before being opened again to staff and patients. The Southern District Health Board says the levels of asbestos found in the hospital don't pose any serious threat, but several hospital services have been closed as a precaution. The affected areas within the clinical services building include the mortuary, ultrasound suite and central stairwell. A top Australian bowler has triumphed in one of New Zealand's premier tournaments held in the city. More than 30 competitors spent the long weekend on the green, eyeing a $15,000 prize pool. But it wasn't just the money that enticed players south.
Bowling over the competition. Top bowlers from around New Zealand and beyond have been in Dunedin for the 25th annual North East Valley Singles Tournament. Competitive Australian bowler Brett Wilkie came away with the win, scoring himself $5,000 in prize money. But he was more pleased to beat one of his fiercest rivals.
I was pretty happy the way I went. It was a little bit tricky out there today, and I think we both sort of were a little bit hot and cold at times. But Aaron was a bit unlucky a couple of times. He played well, but I just got a few numbers at the right time to help get a break, and then sort of just snuck across the line.
He knew what to expect during play, having battled his fellow countrymen before. The final score was a convincing 25 points to 14, but Wilkie says it could have gone either way.
It was just those multiples that helped get me the break. We always have a pretty good game. We've played each other a few times and always usually pretty close and hard fought, and I knew he'd be all the way to the end, and it was a good game.
Every year the North East Valley event offers the most prize money of any club competition in the country. The thousands of dollars up for grabs always proves to be enticing for competitors. But those who travelled for the tournament say there's more reasons to play.
It's been really good quality field, and the hospitality from the club's been amazing. My first time here, and hopefully I'll be back next year.
He's now heading back to Australia with substantially heavier pockets. But his sights are already set on playing and winning in New Zealand again as soon as possible.
My next event in New Zealand, I come back in January for the Burnside Pairs, and then that's like a trials for our Australian team to come back and play New Zealand in the Trans-Tasman and Six Nations tournament in March. So fingers crossed I can help get picked in that and come back for some more bowls in New Zealand.
The visiting foreigners are happy to have made their mark in the traditionally New Zealand-dominated tournament, and all involved are looking forward to more friendly rivalry in years to come. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
And highlights of the tournament will be screened on Dunedin Television in coming weeks. Local fans of veteran crooner Neil Diamond turned out in their thousands to watch him perform live at the weekend. Crowds of jubilant concert goers streamed into Forsyth Bar Stadium early Saturday evening for Diamond's only local show. Just over 13,000 people attended, many of them long-time fans. A screening of the All Blacks haka kicked things off before Diamond took to the stage with his band. The 74-year-old American singer performed for more than 2 hours. His New Zealand tour also includes 2 shows in Auckland. The local concert included all his greatest hits and many he'd written for other well-known musicians. And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. Changes on the horizon at Otago Polytechnic, with new student representatives planning to boost assistance for those studying. Mornington School's 150th Jubilee celebrations have brought some high-profile former pupils to town. And tough conditions at St Clair have challenged the country's top surf lifesavers in the annual race around White Island. Well, it's time now for us to have a look at what's going to be in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times, and Bruce Query joins us. Good evening.
Good evening, Rebecca. The fledgling domestic airline Kiwi Regional Air took its inaugural flight on the Dunedin to Queenstown route, and we jumped on board for the trip. Otago Polytechnic is expanding its design program, and the announcement just happens to come a few weeks after the University of Otago said its own design program would close. A Wakari family is devastated after burglars broke into their property and took $50,000 worth of property. The Highlanders will be naming their squad for next season tomorrow, as it's 32 players, and there's good news because there'll be some familiar faces after last season's great success. And in Fresh, we catch up with a 15-year-old model from Dunedin who's signed an international contract.
Wow, that's all on tomorrow's ODT. Thank you, Bruce. Time now for local weather.
This local weather report proudly brought to you in association with Silberhorn Sportsville.
And here is today's city view as taken of the Botanic Gardens. Around the city today, the central city recorded 10 degrees at 3 o'clock, 12 for the Gardens, 11 for the Tyree. To the situation, and a cool southwest flow will blow over the country for the rest of this week. To the forecast for some of the main towns on the lower South Island for tomorrow. Westerlies with some cloud about for Invercargill and Gore, and highs of 15 degrees. And some cloud about for Queenstown, Oamaru, Wanaka and Twizel, with highs of between around 15 or 16 degrees. In Dunedin tonight, cloudy with a low of 5. Cloud breaking tomorrow, sunny periods from afternoon, light nor'easters, showers and sou'westers developing at night with a high of 15. High tide tomorrow morning is at 10 to 5, low tide follows at 20 to 12, and fishing conditions look best at around 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And that is most of the news for tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good evening.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.